Cips clips. Cips clips.
Alrighty, YouTube's another one of Cips clips, and welcome to the Newspeak News Thursday, the 1st of February. Hi, Thursday, the 1st of February. No, it's actually Monday, the 5th of February, but I forgot to change that. My bad. It isn't a time machine. It's not the hot tub time machine or the YouTube time machine. Just my bad. I'll edit it later. Anyway, it's prepared and organised as always. Now, going to try and do RT this time. Now, for whatever weird reason, RT, well, there'll probably be reasons I can kind of half understand, don't have a YouTube channel, and I don't know how this stream works, i.e. can you pause it and restart it, or is it you need to dip in out of the live stream? Looks like you can pause it and oh no. Live stream, so you're just going to have to go straight into it.
International Live from Moscow, I'm Daniel Hawkins, wherever you are today. Thanks for joining us on the programme. Now, Russia's defence ministry has confirmed the identity of the pilot killed in Syria's Idlib province on Saturday. He was Major Roman Filipov. The ministry has called him a hero. We're going to show you the video that does appear to show the pilot in a fight with Syrian rebel fighters after his plane was shot down. Just a warning to viewers, though, you may find some of the images distressing.
But watch it anyway. This might stress you out your box. You don't know this guy. You don't even know if it's real. You don't know who's killing who. But here, battered into some of the death and shit. There's not really much there to see, to be honest. I've seen worse, but still, battered.
And it shows the last moment of the pilot's life. Now, from what we can hear on the video, the pilot had waited for the terrorists to get closer to him.
I don't like to see anybody murdered, right? But see if you join the army and then you're in a warfare zone in a plane and shit. A strong possibility you might get shot down and killed. Just saying. You know what I mean? But obviously RT, being what they are, putting that guy's life front and centre today. So, what I'm going to quickly do as well, as just due to the way this is all rolling technically, I'm going to try and go into the chat room this way. Shit, Mr. Brown. Possibility you might get shot down. Oops. Let's batter back into this. So, RT's primary focus right now is what's going on in Syria for themselves.
For several years in the region of Russia's Far East. He was also part of a dozen successful military operations. Now, the pilot's plane was shot down on Saturday near the Idlib.
So again, in this information war, it's like painting the opposite sides of the same coin. It's the good guys and the bad guys. This guy with a gun shooting somebody, he's an honourable man. See that guy with a gun shooting somebody, they're cunts. They're guys with guns shooting each other for reasons that their commanders told them. That don't really sound like a fully functioning human being to me. Sounds like a hived mind. Somebody that's been fucking programmed to carry out retarded orders.
Now, shortly after that, an unverified video appeared online showing militants taking selfies with the pilot's body and also stomping on the debris of the crashed plane. Russia has already reacted to this incident, carrying out strikes in that particular area, and the ministry said that...
Right, so let's analyse this, right? I'm no any side here, but RT painting the jihadi serious guys is mental because they're taking pictures pictures with their adversary. Then, as a retaliatory strike, they just go and fucking kill 60 militants, right? Who knows who's real? Fucking anybody innocent died or what have you. It's tit for tat bullshit. If it's an eye for an eye, the whole world will go fucking blind. God, man, it's... Don't have nightmares, people.
Working in this area.
Approximately 500.
Are there any more?
Yes, in houses and on the roads.
I challenge any member of parliament to live in the conditions we are currently living in here. I bet they are even afraid of entering this area. They have no idea how horrible the smell is or how critical the medical situation is.
We haven't received any kind of aid or support since things finished here 7 months ago. Only on one occasion did I receive a small box of food. No coupons, no food, nothing.
Are they talking about Idlib still? Or Mosul?
Correspondent Murad Gaziev was in the city during and after the liberation operation. He shared his experiences with us in the studio earlier today.
7 months since the Battle of Mosul ended, they're still digging up people's bodies. And here, there's no end in sight. I mean, these rescuers work every day. Just this time, we film them. And what's more, you know, we can't obviously show our viewers everything, but this...
But here's some stuff.
In particular is very distressing because it's
we
always
can't
so
show you
when
everything, but
it comes to children. But I was there when these bodies had just begun to rot, and I don't think I'll ever forget it. It was the smell. It was beyond sickening, beyond nauseous. You know, there were areas, entire districts in Mosul where you could hardly breathe properly. Mother Nature in 7 months have, of course, done their job, but the smell hasn't gone. It's still there. It just isn't as bad
Is this in
on
Iraq?
the surface. Truly, the real heroes are the people doing the digging.
Excuse
the
my
people,
ignorance.
The rescuers that are
That is,
sifting
it's
through
in
all
Iraq.
all this wreckage and pulling out these bodies. They're so desensitized, you can see they're not even wearing breathing masks or even rags. But then again...
Right, so the reason Russia is pointing at this fucking hellhole of a fucking place on Earth isn't because they've got sympathies for the people that are the rotten dead corpses or whatever. It's because the blame for the rotten dead corpses can be attributed to the Western forces who are their adversaries. That's the exact same thing the West does when it's pointing at Idlib. I mean, earlier on today I seen pictures from Euronews, I think it was, and they were showing the Russians hitting targets in Idlib. And it's, my geography isn't the worst, but it ain't the best, and with the amount of all these places and that, I'm sure Idlib is still in Syria. I thought Mosul was in Iraq because that was the area that the West went in and just flattened for ISIS because Russia was having too much positive propaganda coming out from Syria when they were having good results. Shit. When they were killing lots of fucking the people they were trying to kill. So again, although they dress it up as a truther channel and they are giving you information that the West doesn't, which is valuable, you should never throw the baby out with the dishwasher. Propaganda doesn't have to be lies. It can be a narrative. Anybody that's got my Skypes, let me know how the audio's coming through as well. I'm just having a wee shifty here and see if... Oh, maybe that should be a wee bit better. I don't know. But anyway, so it's not calling one a liar and the other the truth teller. It's pointing out the propaganda that's coming out of all sides and the techniques in which they use. Which the second you understand it is propaganda, you can then analyse it without suspending disbelief, take the information away without them getting on your heartstrings. You know what I mean? Look at the amount of dead bodies and poor faking Wayne's faces and all that. They're dripping across your screen here. This isn't because they give a fuck. It's to get your fucking heartstring banjo out. Then RT, you're right, even actually to get Cheers, Mr. Brown. RT might even get like a wee rapper out and all that and go boom, 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 boom. I'm going to patronise you very much today. I'm going to rap the fucking news to you cause you're gay. Boom. I mean, that's how RT get down.
For the things that we're doing, although we will try.
It's like fucking white noise and baby fucking crying getting paid into your nut if you're fucking bagged and tagged with SAS.
The neighboring street, all but destroyed. The street across, rubble. The street over there, it's the same story wherever you look.
Wish you were here. Wish you were here.
There are still countless bodies buried under all this rubble, and no one knows how long it'll take to get to all of them. Let me show you West
Find
Mosul.
the best place for my camera
now,
here, but I can't
a
even figure it out.
wasteland. The city, for all intents and purposes, has been erased. There's little or nothing left, so it's no surprise people don't want to return. They would rather live in tents.
I was really excited to return to my home and see it. But now when I see it in this state, I wish I'd never come back. I feel completely destroyed. I don't feel like coming back to this home.
So it's like two white Western armies in the middle of brown man land, killing brown cunts, both trying to have a pissing competition through their propaganda outfits about who's killing cunts the more morally. We slaughtered this area, but then we filled it with food and we let people go back to their houses. You know what I mean?
Official sources, the Iraqis and the US, have all vastly understated the sheer volume of civilian suffering and death. 1,000, they said. Investigative journalists put the figure around 10,000. A senior health chief in Mosul who...
Any investigative journalist in particular, or the ones that RT pay?
Higher.
This book alone contains the names of 7,000 dead victims. I have 4 or 5 of these. Every day we got 2 or 3 more bodies, victims of new explosions.
So where does Iraq even begin? And who will help foot the bill? The answer is simple. If given the choice, no one. It will take tens of billions of dollars to rebuild Mosul alone. And there's a
Maybe
more
Russia can get the contract
issue to deal with first. The bodies. The Iraqis hoped the US-led coalition would help resurrect Mosul, since its bombing campaign created much of this destruction. The Americans, in turn, bluntly said, no, we freed you. We'll...
It's got a touch of the Dr. Evils about on that cunt, isn't he? Like mini-me.
From that, you're on your own.
As a coalition, we are not in the business of nation building or reconstruction. We must ensure that our respective nations' precious and limited resources are devoted to preventing the resurgence of ISIS and equipping the war-torn communities to take the lead in rebuilding their institutions and returning to stability.
March, I think it was
the civilians in Mosul, the desperate and hopeless few that have returned, have nothing.
أنا نروح نبيع والكلى ولا في نار.
You going to school?
المدرسة لازم. ما عندنا.
What else is there to do in Mosul?
وبعد شو تصير بالموصل عم تشتغل الدولة؟ والله خلاص كوش نشتغل. لا تبكي حبيبي. لا تبكي يا بطل. لا تبكي. هلا حبيبي. لا تبكي. لا تبكي.
That was Murad Gaziev there on the grim reality in Mosul in the wake of the grueling liberation campaign. Well, RT has requested a comment on the situation from a number of rights organisations as well as the US-led coalition. We can talk now to Oxfam's humanitarian coordinator for the Middle East, Alexandros Yiannopoulos. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you on the programme. Difficult situation, we understand, in Mosul. How would you assess the state of the city? Are you surprised at the condition it's in over 6 months after the liberation?
The reality is it's been a very intense battle, particularly in the old city of Mosul. And in our experiences, it's often been very complex to rehabilitate a city after an earthquake or fighting like this. And humanitarian organisations like Oxfam, we've tried, even during the fighting, we were working 2 kilometres from the front line to provide much needed drinking water and supplies, and now also trying to enter into the city even under such difficult situations.
What are the main reasons, do you think, for the slow progress in rebuilding life and getting it back to normality? I mean, how long do you expect it would take for the city to be made at least moderately habitable again?
Nobody gives a shit. Invest back in, PR campaign, raise it to the ground, say we're beating ISIS,
However, what we have seen for
jobs are
households
good.
to
See you
restart
later.
to their own level, you do need a level of safety. So the unexplored ordnance you were talking about is a critical area. But in my experience, in some of the villages south of Mosul, people very quickly went back into their homes. But they do want to go back home and would restart markets. And I've even seen markets start within a matter of months or if not weeks, as soon as the area is safe. However, the whole infrastructure and the kind of larger scale rebuilding of the city, that can take much, much longer. But for people to start their lives can be quite quick as soon as it's safe.
The liberation of Mosul was a joint effort, wasn't it, by several countries in a coalition that fought ISIS, that got ISIS out of the city?
Apart from Russia.
Do you think now the countries involved in that coalition operation
the West
to rebuild the city itself?
Do you think they should clean up their shit?
I would look from a donor's perspective, and I would look from an NGO's perspective, not from a military one. And I would say that a lot of funding is needed for the rehabilitation, and your report clearly outlined that the bill is very high. And I would definitely
the bill is very high.
Donors, and I understand there's this conference in Kuwait where Russia is going to be part of, to start to say and start to contribute to increasing the funding to the recovery effort for the city as a whole, not just the old city in western Mosul, but for the whole of the region and the Nineveh governorate, which has been so affected by the fighting recently.
Just how difficult is it for humanitarian organisations, yourself and others, etc., to actually reach people on the ground? You mentioned safety is one of the factors there. Just how complex is that operation?
It requires negotiation through checkpoints. It requires basic things such as getting visas, so our international staff as well as our national staff can get into the country. And also, we work very closely with the local municipalities and to do any of our water and sanitation activities, such as rehabilitation of the water points so people can access drinking water. And the authorities are often very willing to help us at a technical level, but at administrative level it's often complex because the procedures are quite cumbersome. But that's something organisations like us are very used to working with and negotiating our way through that environment. But it does slow down access a little bit.
Okay, Alexandros Yiannopoulos, Oxfam Humanitarian.
What else is RT going to ask us to care about today?
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Now, we'll be back with more news right after this short break. Do stay tuned here on RT International.
Very interesting, right? Let's see if we get any gold adverts. Adverts for gold. Gold coins.
Or...
Oh, I've got no idea where's this stream coming from. So what will you get? Get the international adverts, or I don't know. No idea actually. Obviously here in the UK you would get the UK version.
A fight with a neighbor or with other powers in the world.
Good looking wee Russian. I'll watch her show, no problem. Sure she would still have that show if she had a face like a melted welly boot.
When old truths seem wrong, when old rules just don't hold,
True for Channel RT
hope is yet to shape out. Disdain becomes the etiquette, and engagement equals betrayal. When so many find themselves worlds apart, we choose to look for common ground.
Welcome back to RT International. The UK High Court has ruled against the extradition of an alleged British hacker to the United States. Larry Love is accused of carrying out cyber attacks against the FBI and NASA, among other organisations. The UK's Lord's Chief Justice, though, said extradition could put the hacktivist's life at risk. Polly Woiko was there.
So much so that when the judge read out the verdict, the applause and the celebration from Larry Love's team was so loud that the judge had to remind them all that this was a court of law and not a theatre. So they were certainly very happy, scenes of celebration as they walked out. Larry Love is wanted in the US for charges of cyber hacking. He's accused of hacking into US government websites, the FBI, NASA, the Federal Reserve among them.
I can't remember this guy's case for whatever reason. I must have took my eye off the ball. I could remember the Scottish guys. Unless I'm getting mixed up or what have you.
This appeal was really the last chance saloon for Larry Love. His legal team have argued all along that it would be dangerous to extradite him to the US for a number of reasons, but mainly because he suffers from Asperger's syndrome and he has a depressive illness, so he was at a high risk of suicide, and they worried that the US incarceration system wouldn't look out for his well-being, couldn't guarantee his safety, essentially. So a very pleased Larry Love. We got footage of him coming out, holding hands with his girlfriend and his family, and he was rushing off to a press conference, but we managed to catch him for a few words. Take a listen to what he had to say.
I'm very thankful that after a very long ordeal, the right result has come, and we can exercise the sovereignty of our legal justice system. People can have a reasonable expectation that they'll be treated humanely, and if they have engaged in criminal behaviour, that they will have a proportionate sentence. It's very important as well that there's been a recognition of the effects of having autism and having depression on how somebody ought to be treated by the criminal justice system. It was very unfortunate that the prosecution tried to paint my mental health conditions as being made up, fictionist, confabulated, and that contributes to the stigma of people with them. So this decision is important for...
He looks like a perfectly sane individual to me. But here... do what you got to do to keep out the fucking clutches of the fucking American justice system. That's for fucking sure. And I ain't no doctor, but...
the appropriate administration of criminal justice, and also for the humanitarian accommodation of people whose brains work differently. So.
Lots of people were watching the result of this appeal hearing because it was the first real test of a brand new law, essentially. Many viewers will remember the case of Gary McKinnon. He was wanted in the US for very similar charges, hacking charges. He has a similar health condition. He has autism. Back in 2012, Theresa May, when she was still Home Secretary, managed to block his extradition to the US. His legal troubles aren't over. He now faces trial here in the UK.
Now, in other news, a court in a small German town has banned the local mosque from broadcasting the call to prayer. Although the decision was taken because of an error in the original application, a review of the case was triggered up.
Tommy Robinson's going to be all over this, and I believe he's in Germany right now. Which I didn't know that. Somebody was like, you arrange an open mic night when Tommy Robinson's in Germany. I was like, I consulted his diary. I was really expecting Tommy Robinson to bounce into a fucking hangout.
For God of Christians. And as a Christian who grew up here in a Christian environment, I can't accept that.
Now, the mosque was forced to stop its call to prayer after the complaint was made in 2015. The court only came to its final decision, though, just a matter of days ago. It says the mosque is free to reapply for a permit. Well, we travelled to the town in West Germany to hear how residents in the region feel about the move.
The ban in general isn't acceptable. At the time, the court examined whether the noise was audible from a distance to those not listening for it. The people here said it wasn't possible to hear it.
For me, it's quite separate from the issue of religion. I'm very much for religious freedom, but the people who live around there are certainly affected if the criers call out loudly in the area, as they always do. Also, there are quite a lot of mosques. I don't know exactly...
Why they don't do a silent disco fucking idea, you know what I mean? You can have your Allah Akbar fucking shouts as loud as you want, just everybody with a pair of Bluetooths on. Everyone's a winner. I mean, these problems aren't unresolvable.
Making the noise a little bit less, discussing with the neighbors, and then themselves say they were not going to do it. But just asking the law and the society to forbid it. This is a thing I think Mr. Green doesn't know, that Europe has a history not only of Christian and Jews, but they have also a history of Muslims. The Muslims were in Spain longer than the Catholics. We have Bosnians, we have the Turks in Europe. So this is a place where a lot of people, believers, non-believers, those with faith, those with no faith, should live.
The United Kingdom and virtually the whole of Europe is founded on the Bible as the Lord Jesus Christ as the absolute foundation of our way of life, and to bring in
the foundation of our way of life is fucking some cunt stuck in a fucking pole dying. Woohoo! Trauma-based mind control 101. Here, young children, see that cunt up there with thorns on his head and nailed to a fucking pole? He died for your sins. You better feel fucking guilty and follow this rule book and put money in my collection plate. Otherwise, people wouldn't know not to kill people if it wasn't for the baby Jesus.
Green is doing still celebrating the kickoff of Muslims in Spain. You know, in Austria, the Islamic faith was recognized since 1902. More than 100 years. It's recognized by the empire as an official faith religion.
The idea that there's religious freedom in Muslim countries is complete rubbish. You're not even allowed to have a Bible in Saudi Arabia, for instance, and Christians are persecuted in Egypt, in Pakistan, in Malaysia, in Mauritania.
Don't stay there.
That's not true.
Stay at other countries. If they're that fucking backward and retarded, who gives a fuck?
The argument falls flat. We are being actually the victims of our own tolerance in Europe.
No, that's true. Not so true. Even the Indonesian ambassador, this is the largest Muslim country, is a Christian who is here. Even in Nigeria, there was a Christian president. If you go to Dubai, if you go to Qatar, if you go to Kuwait, if you go to Oman, if you go to all these Arab countries, if you go even to Malaysia and even, so that's really rubbish to say it's not allowed to have a Bible, there is no churches.
Those are the headlines from myself and the team here at RT for this hour. See you in 35 minutes for more global headlines.
That 3-4 stories, point out what the West done in Brown Man Land. Remember, the West killing people bad, Russia killing people good. They're killing terrorists and bad guys, and the West killing good guys. I don't know. I can't remember how they're painting it. Wee bit of Muslim divide and conquer coming out straight out of Germany. But Tommy Robbins is there, funnily enough, man. But hey, there isn't a concerted effort to bring attention to these areas of the world. It's kind of strange where, like, you hear the Swedish argument, right? Nobody's asking any Swedes. It's all about these reports and rapes going up and the crime stats and stuff. And you go, well, if you pump hundreds of fucking down and outs into one particular area, put them in slums with very little opportunity, you might find crime spiking and all these down and outs acting a bit retarded. They're not doing it because they woke up one morning and went, here's my Quran, yep, go and be retarded in white man land. No, they're doing it because they've ended up there by hook or by crook, by bullshit. Let's not forget how they all ended up here, by the way. Who let the floodgates open? Who let the floodgates open for all these people into Europe? Some would argue Turkey. So what are you... Anyway, so there was a wee look at RT. Have to do it quick like that because you can't really pause the stream. You pause it and then you'll dip back in and it will just catch up to the live, so you don't have an ability to sort of pause it and stuff. Some people would say that's a good thing. I'm not rambling on as much. So I'll say hi to everybody in the chat room. And then I'm going to get out of here. So in the evening, one and all. Or in the afternoon, should I say, actually. Hope these are all good. There's Cheech MacGyver, Rogue State, Otto, Roberto Carlos in the afternoon, gents. Mr. Brown, how you doing, my man? Society of the Spectre, Gary, how yous all doing? Rab, Otto, Wild to the Grid. And the afternoon, everybody, there was Stewie in as well. There's King Neddy, how you doing? Headlight for sale, how you doing, my man? Hope you're keeping well, buddy. Devon, how you doing, Devon? Cheech MacGyver in the afternoon, everybody. What they're not telling us, how you doing, buddy? Grabbed a wee chat with him last night, which was pretty cool. So, in the afternoon one and all, there is Frankie Bison, how you doing? And the afternoon one and all, so hopefully next week I'm going to return to the BBC, man. That's sick. It's good watching the BBC, let's just say. A lot. There's Helicopter Pad in the chat as well. So, in the afternoon one and all, stay tuned for Not the Infowars Nightly News tomorrow night. It's going to be a cracker. I mean, I'll just touch on some of the things that'll be going down. You can see the more I'm scratching beneath the surface of this, it's absolutely amazing, right? Right. British Constitution Group. Look at the start of them and stuff. Still need to do more, but also look at the British Constitution Association. You'll see a very familiar name that pops up with regards to the Balfour Declaration and sort of the Crown Corporation creating Israel. And Balfour was a Scottish guy. He was even accused of being anti-Semitic and all that at the time. It's some really murky waters, and it's hard to get it straight in your nut because everybody's looking for a very simple, he's in that team, he's in that team. And I would say it's far from as simple as that. But you've got the British Constitution Association. It was founded in 1905. Now, I'd in fact appreciate it if anybody else can go and scratch beneath the surface of this shit, right? Because it's hard to find the records that fit it all together. It's not. So the more people that can contribute, the better. So if anybody wants to get in touch, all my Skype details and stuff down below. If anybody wants to get in touch. British Constitution Association, founded in 1905. The British Constitution Association was a pressure group designed to oppose increasing state regulation, whether from the Liberals parties, New Liberalism, or Joseph Chamberlain's proposals for tariff reform. It has been described as a curious mix of unionists, free traders, orthodox poor, law administrators, and followers of Herbert Spencer. Its first president was Lord Hugh Cecil, and was succeeded by Lord Balfour of Burleigh. Its supporters include the Constitution expert A.V. Dicey, Lord Avonbury, Lord Courtney, John St. Lo Strathy, Professor Flinders Petrie, Thomas Mackey, and Hugh Elliott. Now, as you can see there, a lot of lords, right? In the UK, you have separation of powers. The lords tended to be the landowners, the gentry. The separation of powers initially still had the lords with a lot of powers, a lot of oversight on the parliament. I'm not separation of powers is a good thing, but when you look when initially the powers were separated, how they were separated and what lines they were separated, do you think it's any coincidence that this British Constitution Association, in combination with the British Constitution Group, now think of the lords that are bouncing up on fucking Infowars and all that, right? You've got that Mogg cunt, what's his name? Rees Mogg or some shit, right? What? Then you had, oh god, I'm forgetting his name. Who was that stupid cunt that done this fucking, done the stunt and jumped out a plane into a global warming conference? Lord Monkford or something, right? Look where these people are coming from. I'm not saying that they're the bad guys or the good guys. I'm saying there is a clique behind them. Go and look at who they are, and they've been fighting. They've been fighting for this stuff for some time. Put that into combination with the Mr. Brown done a fucking brilliant job. Hold on, let's see if I can get this up. Got a wee bit of time to kill, so that should be all good. Is this the one I'm after? I'm not sure. Hopefully this is the one I'm after. I really need to spend more time with this stuff and figure out how it all works better. Right, when you go and look at the Alex Jones, why the that fucking top border really does my tits in? I'm talking to myself here, but not good. Right, so we now, and if I press that and zoom in, right, we can look at this shit. So when you come up here to Alex Jones, and Stead Mither, Alex Jones's, shit, I can't find my way about this as well as the last one. Where's some dare call it a conspiracy? Is that no in there? That can't be in there. Shit. Or is it just here and I can't see it? Sovereign Citizen Movement. I'm going to quickly, just so I can get it straight in my head, open up the old sketchy one. Say open up in paint. Probably be better, eh? So let me. Oh shit! God, that's not what I wanted to do. Just talk amongst yourselves. 2 seconds. What I wanted to talk about was there it's up there. I remember the ramblings of myself a wee bit better. I think I've got rid of that so I can go onto it properly. So what you'll find is this is fucking more difficult than I fucking thought. Bastardo Amacho. I know what it is, I keep losing that fucking... Gary Allen, he was, and John Stead Mither, conservative journalists. I'll need to go back. I'll do this better for tomorrow night, and you'll see how it all fits in. But if you go and chase all the like sort of the initial rhetoric and whatnot, you'll see they all come from the same place. Let me just build on some of this stuff. British Constitution Group, all the lords and the gentry. As you can see, it's all conservative leaning people from the late 19th into the 20th century. There's Alfred Balfour. Now, with regards to, these are all sort of, they all appear to be different groups. Or they would argue they're all independent groups and stuff, but you can go and look at the characters, where they come from, the messages they're sharing and the agendas. It's the sovereign citizen movement, all wrapped up in the old world order, the old power block, basically. So, part of the struggle we're witnessing just now is power bases shifting, and the old seat of power, the old seats of power, trying their hardest to consolidate, if not, to consolidate their power so that it doesn't shift elsewhere. When I scratch beneath like, I've got this in my head and I'm trying to fucking explain it. I done the UK column. They operate out of the premises for the British Constitution Group. The British Constitution Group rent those premises off of Phoenix. I think it's Phoenix Group, right? The Phoenix Group initially were out of India in the cotton trade. Then as the cotton trade and the slave trade declined, they diversed into real estate, so on and so forth. One of the guys that turned up on the TV channel, Controversial TV, with Brian Gerrish, Ian R. Crane and David Icke. It was a Freemason that used to work for that Phoenix group. Now, fast forward to... Let me show you this. This is what I've got in the bag for tomorrow. Will I be able to... I need to get this all sorted in my head a wee bit clearer for tomorrow. It's about all the Freemason shit that came out today. Yeah, I need to go and double check that, right? What I basically want to say is, if you go and look at the Guardian group, who the left constantly propagate their stuff, the Guardian, known as a sort of a left-wing publication. If you go and actually trace the roots of the Guardian, you'll find business interests in the north of England and Scotland who own that apparent left-wing leaning group, newspaper group. They trace their roots back to the cotton trade. Now, I don't know if I'm starting to see Jesus and toast here, or these links that are there if you go and scratch beneath the circus actually tell a story. So you've got the British Constitution group who follow the exact same principles and have as many lords and whatnot as the British Constitution Association from way back when, the Balfour Declaration. The British Constitution group rent its premises off of Phoenix Group, who used to make its money from the slave and cotton trade. They were interlinked. You needed fucking slaves to pick your cotton. Then you needed your ships and your infrastructure to fucking move that cotton all over the empire at the time, the East India Trading Corporation. So the business interests, and even the Guardian today, Stacey Herbert, Max Kaiser, the Kaiser Report, when you scratch beneath the surface of who these organisations are, you find commonalities and where the money's coming from, and the lords, and the continuation. Even go and look at Rebel Media, for example, who are very part of this information war. And if you go and look into the Rebel Media groups and the Sun newspaper and all the genesis of these groups, what you'll find is that it was the old Canadians that were more imperialists and preferred their relations with the British Empire than they preferred Canada being its own entity. So again, trace it all back and you can see where these are people's agendas are originally coming from and who they are, without all the flowery Edward Bernays language that they all come out with now, and the motivating foot soldiers like Tommy Robinson and the rest of them to appear real when ultimately it's serving a larger geopolitical long-term agenda. I mean, that British Constitution Association goes back to 1905, and then even the business interests of these groups that were adversely impacted by the end of colonialism. These were the ones that were part of the Edward Bernays rebranding of colonialism. No, we don't have any colonies at the Commonwealth. Aye. Fuck calling it colonies. People actually might know the game. Little days we'll call it the Commonwealth. Then we'll bounce in there and we'll get our random black cunt, a random brown cunt. We'll pay him good. He'll be part of the team. And then the brown people and the black people will think they're ruled by a brown person or a black person. They won't understand that that's just a house nigger, another slave controlled by the old colonialists. Look at Katie Hopkins bouncing down to South Africa, trying to reignite that fire. Go and look at South Africans ruling white elites before apartheid ended, and go and look at the relationship with Israel. Hand in glove, man, hand in glove. Anyway, so I don't know if that's just ramblings of a madman or I'm seeing Jesus on toast, but you go and scratch beneath the surface of all of these entities, you'll trace it back to a common genesis, a common ancestor of business interests by predominantly white cunts in Britain and sitting round the empire who want to hold on to their power. They don't care what the country's called. They don't give a fuck who the Prime Minister is. As long as their businesses are still there making them dough and no cunts rocking up with a gun saying, give me my land back. That's the problem that's happened in South Africa and other ex-colonies around the world. So it's neo-colonialism, which is just basically Edward Bernays colonialism. Go and look into these countries, even from Nigeria to South Africa. It's still predominantly white, old, European white companies and corporations ruling the day. Anyway, that's probably, I need to organise that more for tomorrow night, but that's kind of the picture I'm trying to work on with regards to fitting this all into the Truth Industrial Complex. Trace all their ideas. Where did they get their ideas? Where did that guy get his ideas? And it goes back to this rebanding of colonialism by the people in power who understood the world was changing and the tides were shifting and they wanted to consolidate their power. Whether I'm seeing Jesus in toast or not, I don't know, but that's what I see when I look at the Truth Industrial Complex. Certainly. And you can actually fit it into a diagram. So in the afternoon when it and all, it's me going to do the off. Stewie, Cheech, Word to the Grid, Otto, Gary. Hope you all have a good one. Links below for the Steam It, DTube, all that stuff. I think it's sensible to spread your content in different platforms right now. I can even show you the schizophrenicness of the UK, the schizophrenicness of YouTube and the rest of it. Let me see if I can just show you this. So here it's here. Right. Some features been disabled because Tommy Robinson's little bitches reported the video for what I don't know. Then I re-uploaded it, got it manually reviewed by Google and YouTube itself, and boom shakalaka. So, Tommy Robinson fans are propagating more censorship than Google and YouTube. Which leads me to believe they're not all Tommy Robinson, I just tell the truth. No, you don't, mate. You tell selective truths. Because that wee bit of bullshit you're saying, you can point at a book and go, it's true. It's selective truths. It's narratives. It's propaganda rhetoric. It's a Rangers fan in a Celtic shop saying, I'm not a Rangers fan, but Celtic are shite. A bull in a China shop. Is that racist? Are you allowed to say bull in a China shop now? Anyway, so hopefully I'm managing to communicate the bull crap that I might be seeing. Who knows if it's Jesus on toast or not. So tune in tonight, you'll get Cookie Soul Excalibur. I'll share that over on the community page if you want to check that. The link will be below. Tune in tomorrow for another Newspeak news. Not for the 1st of February, for the 6th of February. And tomorrow night for Not the Infowars Nightly News Live, where I'll be trying to further expand on how all these apparent independent pieces of this information war, when you trace it all back, you can see they might all be fighting for the same entity while proclaiming to be independent, which makes them liars. I mean, Tommy Robinson is a confirmed liar. He can't even tell you why he get charged for filming himself in court when he actually provided the Crown with the actual evidence to prosecute him. And he did get prosecuted. He did get charged. And he's still out there. Why are you on suspended sentence, Tommy? Because I was doing what the media... No, mate. The media didn't film themselves in court because they wouldn't be that stupid. So, you were doing what the media wasn't doing. Breaking the law and being held in contempt of court. But anyway, everybody, have a good Monday. Hope yous all had a good weekend, and hopefully catch yous all tomorrow. Catch yous! Clips!
Up